This is Rahul Singh. Rahul, stand by. We're going to get to you in just a moment. Canadians who did manage to return home after being stuck on Caribbean islands pummeled by the hurricane say the Canadian government did not communicate well and it took way too long to respond. All right, here's somebody you saw just a moment ago who always responds very quickly. Rahul Singh, he's the executive director of Toronto-based Global Medic, and they're on the ground in Saint Martin now. The volunteer organization parachutes into disaster zones. Rahul, one of the biggest concerns that your team faces all the time is with drinking water. What is the situation there right now? Give us an update on what your team has been doing since you arrived in, where are you, Cuba now?
No, let's start with Cuba. We managed to get aid in the form of water purification sachets into Cuba last night, thanks to the folks at Sunwing and Air Canada. And those air carriers managed to get 1,000 Canadians out. So big kudos to them. They're doing that on their own. We've also got boots on the ground in St. Martin. We've got a drone team down along with a water purification team. They've got different missions. One is out getting emergency maps made so we get a good understanding of what's happening. The other is out delivering aid and getting water running. We're going to be wheels down Friday night into Antigua with building materials, more water aid, and now we're trying to get into Tortola and Anguilla.
Okay, so first of all, where do you get your funding? And you know, this is an opportunity for you to do a plug.
Well, listen, we need your help, the public, because we're not getting government funding. And it frustrates me when the Ontario government doesn't fund us. You know, when we've got Ontario Medics and Ontario Innovation on the ground saving lives now, and we're not getting any funding there. So we need the city to pull together and the nation to pull together and fund us, because we have the access channels open. The airlines are going in, they're carrying our aid, our teams are on the ground. Remember, we're rescue professionals doing the work. In Antigua, when we land, we're up to Barbuda to map that and get building supplies in. So we need your support to do our job.
Okay, so how are people going to do that? You have a website where people can go to make a donation?
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. Globalmedic.ca. Click the donate button and we'll make you proud.
You know what? You always make us proud. I'm not sure why the Ontario government is not also providing funding, but what about the feds?
You know, the feds we haven't had much luck with in the last couple of years. We need to do a better job to get to these governments to explain to them like why we're the best at boots on the ground right away. But at the same time, they've got to listen to us a little bit more, since we're in delivering aid right now, not in a week, not in 3 weeks, and that's life-saving aid. I mean, if you're a mom and you have 2 little kids and you can't get them clean water, and you know that they're going to get sick with the dirty water and maybe one of them's going to die, and we can reverse that with Ontario-made innovations and clean drinking water units, I mean, doesn't that just make sense to get us the funds to get in there since we're there already?
Yeah, simply because the 2 most urgent needs in a case like this are power and potable drinking water. Yeah,
you know, you can only survive about 3 days without clean drinking water. So I'd give that as the #1 need, right?
Right.
And right now we've got enough clean water supplies for about 2,000 folks in Saint Martin, plus a couple of big units for another 4,000 people a day. We got to ramp up that aid. And because the infrastructure is so damaged, we're actually dropping aid into St. Lucia and renting boats to get in, which is a 22-hour journey over to resupply our teams and get more aid in. So this is a very difficult situation because it's in multiple islands, and there's large percentages of the population of each island that are affected. And if we forget about these folks and we don't get them this aid, it'll be absolutely catastrophic.
When you say we, how many people are on your team?
Well, we've got a couple of thousand folks around the country. Right now, we've got 4 Canadians with boots on the ground in Saint Martin. We're going to have another 5 with boots on the ground Friday night in Antigua. The kind folks at Sunwing are putting a plane down for us there. We're talking to Air Canada about getting us into a couple of more places over the weekend. We're treating this as each island nation has different needs, and we're responding to each one to solve the problems that they have. So it'll just be a light footprint of people, lots of gear, lots of aid to help the masses.
All right, Rahul Singh with Global Medic. Always a pleasure. You do good things. Thank you, Rahul.